How's it going, tool users? Hope you're doing well today. Today's video is going to be on pliers and other hinged tools. Very useful stuff. Y'all should have some of this stuff in your toolkit. Many different applications these are good for. We'll go through one by one and discuss it. So like first we'll start with what's called groove lock pliers. So now these are adjustable here. They can change the size, application that you're using it on. They work great for like pipes, nuts and bolts. They generally grip in one direction. So if you're grabbing one like this, you'll pull it like that to tighten. Otherwise, you'll flip it around and grab it like this and pull it like that to loosen. So generally speaking, if you try to grab it like this and tighten, the head will slip on the bolt or pipe or whatever you're trying to turn. So that's something to keep in mind. This is a Nipix brand. They've got kind of, I would say, the best groove lock pliers out there. This is called a Cobra. It has teeth in it that bite really well. The design's really well. Other ones like this right here, they got teeth in it too, but there's no like real good design to get on something. These are bigger. This is a Crescent brand, and they can open up real wide and get on big pipes and fittings and everything else. It's the same concept. You kind of want to get into practice of turning it the correct way when you're taking something loose. All right, these little pliers here, they're general purpose pliers. They're good for just about anything. They've got a little groove in them here where you can, this one's kind of hard, but you can change the size, item that you're trying to get a bite on. Generally speaking, when you're using a tool like this, the closer the little levers are together in your hand when you're gripping it, the better grip you'll have on the item. If you've got it and it's wide open like this and you're trying to grip it, you're not going to get as good of a grip as if it's closed all the way. So, try to use the tool in the setting that will get these two bars closer together. That's the name of the game there. Same thing, they got different sizes, for different applications. They'll generally, I believe they're called slip joint pliers. But, they'll open up wide. This set here has, right on the inside here, has cable cutters. So it'll cut like a small piece of wire or cable or whatever. It'll shear it. Now this isn't exactly the best pliers for doing that, but if you're in a bind and that's what you have, it'll work. So now we'll go on over here. We have two sets of needle nose pliers. These are good if you're trying to get in somewhere that's real tight and pick something up or turn something that doesn't need a whole lot of pressure. Now you're not going to get a whole lot of leverage out here on the tip, so it's good for like picking off like clips on hoses. Like they'll have like spring clips that you need to press the tabs together to get it off, and you can generally get on there and kind of like wiggle it off. They have like not just these needle nose, but they have like flat size too that can go in there and get what you want. This is the same thing. It's bent, so if you need to get like around something and then get it, it works. It's a needle. It's just called a bent needle nose. That's basically what that is. You'll buy these in sets, and they'll generally come with both. So moving on, let's see, what do we got here? Let's do these next. These are vice grips. These are great when you need really good grip on something. So what they do is they get on something, then they tighten up like that, and they'll click into place, and they're locked at that point in time. So now you can change the depth of what you're locking by adjusting this little screw right here. So you've seen it locked open. Now you know, as I adjust the screw, that's the size bolt or whatever that you want to get on is. So these come in various shapes and sizes as well. This is sort of like the needle nose type for that. And it's I believe they call this one an alligator. Anyhow, you know, you got this set right here. This is great for like welding applications, like if you need to hold a couple pieces of metal together. Works good. And it's the same. This one's sort of similar to that, but this one don't have a lever to release it. This one has a little lever. You press that and it'll release. So when you're using vice grips, when you lock it in place right here, hold on, gotta adjust it a little bit more. That little lever will pop out like that, and then you press it and it'll open up. So basically you close it on something, then lock it, and there you go. You have really good grip. You don't have to use your hand to grip it at that point in time like other sets of pliers. You know, the grip just stays there. You're not using your muscle strength to hold it. So moving on, we'll talk about these right here. Now, though these look similar, they're different. They're both cutters. They both are designed to cut things. But what you'll notice is these are called diagonal cutters. They, let's see if I can get on camera here. All right, you see that little groove in the middle there? They will not cut flush against something. So when you're cutting like zip ties, for instance, and you get on a zip tie and you cut it, that'll leave a little edge that'll poke up past the zip tie a little bit. And if you run your hand across it, it can cut you real bad. I actually knew a guy that got cut on one and he had to get stitches from it. So what these are designed for, these are called flush cutters. There is no little groove there. So when you cut on something and you get against it, it cuts it flush with the material you're cutting against. So these are good for like cutting zip ties. This is what you'd want to use. These are good for like cutting cables or anything that you have to cut that might take a little bit more muscle. These are not designed to cut things that are real hard and heavy. And, you know, they're great for like plastic. I know some of y'all probably have seen those old model cars that come on like a tree with all the little plastic pieces. This would be a great set of pliers to do that kind of stuff. Like if you build RC cars or model cars or whatever, that's the set you'll want right there. So now talking about cutters again, this set right here is a specialty tool that I had to buy for one of my jobs I was doing. This is a cable cutter. This is for cutting bicycle brake cables and shifter cables. Now anytime you cut a cable, you're going to want to use the right tool, because what will happen is if you try to cut a cable with these, not only will it fray, but it will damage your diagonal cutters. So that's something you want to be aware of. You don't want to do that. Moving on here, we got some wire strippers and crimpers. Now sometimes they sell these separate, you know, two different sets of pliers, and you'll have a set that just has strippers, and then you'll have a set that has crimpers. I like this set because it's got both. So like up here, the little indentation, the little hump here, that's designed to crimp butt connectors on wires, ones that are non-insulated. The insulated ones go in the little groove right there. Now my camera's not really focusing well, but they also have cutters in here. You can kind of see them right there. That's good for cutting the cable. So you can go in and you can cut the cable, then you can strip the cable, and then you can crimp it with a butt connector with this set right here. This set's pretty much a do it in one set. So right here is the strippers. See if it'll focus. Yeah, there you go. So you just want to find the right size. You want to cut through the rubber part of the wire, but not the metal part. That's essentially what you want. You want to maintain all your metal threads. Moving on, we'll go to this last set I got out here. These are called fencing pliers. This is good for anyone that's like putting up a fence, you know, barbed wire fence on a farm. You know, it's got your hammer side here where you can bang on it to bang in, you know, the little staples into the wood to hold that stuff in there. It's got a puller up here at the top where you can go in and you can grab the staple and pull it out and stuff. I don't know much about these. I haven't used these ever, honestly, in my life. I just know what they are from looking it up. But essentially, that's what these are for. If you ever see these weird looking hammer pliers, they're not very useful for anything but fencing, is what I would say. You're not gonna go in and try to turn bolts and nuts with this thing. It's not a multi-use tool. I wouldn't advise it for that. I mean, it is a multi-use tool, but it's one of them things where it's not really good at any particular thing but fencing. Anyhow, y'all have a great day. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening.